This is not just my story. It's a story about what happens when someone underestimates you, when they tell you that you're nothing, that you'll never be anything without them. 5 years ago, I was married to a man named David. We had been together for 8 years, married for 5. I thought we had the perfect life. I thought he loved me. I thought we were building something together. But I was wrong. So very wrong. On the day David asked me for a divorce, he looked me straight in the eyes and said something I will never forget. He said, "You know what your problem is? You've never amounted to anything. Everything you have, everything you are, is because of me. Without me, you're nothing. You'll never be anything. And when you realize that, come back to me. I'll be waiting." Those words shattered me. They cut deeper than any knife could. But as I stood there, watching him pack his things, something inside me ignited. A fire, a determination, a promise to myself that I would prove him wrong. Not for him, not to get him back, but for me. Because I deserved better. Because I had always deserved better. Let me take you back to the beginning. I met David when I was 23 years old. I was working as an administrative assistant at a marketing firm, earning just enough to pay my rent and survive. David was a rising star in the corporate world, charming, ambitious, driven. When he asked me out, I felt like the luckiest girl in the world. Our courtship was a whirlwind. He swept me off my feet with expensive dinners, romantic getaways, and promises of a future together. Within a year, he proposed. Within 18 months, we were married. But looking back now, I can see the red flags I was too in love to notice. David never really saw me as an equal. In his eyes, I was the supportive wife, the one who would stay home, manage the household, and look beautiful while he conquered the world. He never encouraged me to pursue my own career. When I mentioned going back to school or starting my own business, he would laugh it off. "Why would you need to work?" he would say. "I'll take care of everything." I let his words shape my reality. I became dependent on him, financially, emotionally, psychologically. I gave up my dreams. I gave up my identity. I became Mrs. David Thompson, and somewhere along the way, I lost myself entirely. The marriage started to deteriorate almost immediately after the wedding. The romantic gestures stopped. The late nights at the office became more frequent. David was always working, always traveling, always too busy for me. When I tried to talk about our problems, he would dismiss me. "You're being dramatic," he would say. "Stop making things up." I started to believe him. I thought maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was asking for too much. Maybe a good wife should be grateful for whatever scraps of attention she could get. The emotional abuse escalated over the years. David would criticize everything about me: my appearance, my intelligence, my ambitions. He would tell me I was lucky he married me, because no one else would want me. He would make comments about my weight, my cooking, my friends. Every aspect of my life was somehow wrong, somehow not good enough. And I believed him. I truly believed I was worthless without him. The day David asked for a divorce, he didn't even have the decency to do it face to face. I came home from grocery shopping to find his suitcases packed in the hallway. He was sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone, as if what he was about to do was completely mundane. "I want a divorce," he said without looking up. "I've met someone else. It's over." I dropped the grocery bags. The apples rolled across the floor. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, frozen, as my entire world collapsed around me. "Don't look at me like that," David said, finally meeting my eyes. "This is for the best. You know it is. You've known for years." I don't understand." I stammered. "What did I do wrong? What can I change?" David laughed. It was a cruel, dismissive laugh. "You know what your problem is? You've never amounted to anything. Everything you have, everything you are, is because of me. Without me, you're nothing. You'll never be anything. And when you realize that, come back to me. I'll be waiting." Those words hit me like a freight train. I fell to my knees, sobbing. David just walked past me, picked up his suitcases, and left. He didn't look back. Not once. The weeks that followed were the darkest of my life. David moved in with his mistress, a younger woman from his office. The divorce proceedings were brutal. He fought me for every asset, every piece of furniture, every penny. He wanted to leave me with nothing.
I had no job.
No savings. No education. No skills. I had been a housewife for 8 years, and suddenly I was 31 years old, facing the world completely alone. I had to move back in with my elderly parents. I slept in my childhood bedroom, surrounded by posters from my teenage years, trying to figure out how my life had gone so wrong. For 3 months, I didn't leave the house. I didn't eat. I barely slept. I just lay in bed, replaying David's words over and over in my head. Without me, you're nothing. You'll never be anything. And the worst part? I believed him. I truly believed I was worthless. One night, I couldn't sleep. I crept downstairs to the kitchen, hoping a glass of warm milk would help. My mother was already there, sitting at the table, waiting for me. "I've been watching you," she said softly. "I've been watching you destroy yourself. And I can't do that anymore." "Mom, you don't understand."
David was right.
"I'm nothing. I've never been anything." My mother stood up and walked over to me. She took my face in her hands and looked me straight in the eyes. "Listen to me," she said. "Your husband was a monster. He spent 8 years tearing you down so you would never leave him. And it worked. But you're stronger than he ever knew. I raised you. I know what you're capable of. Now it's time for you to remember." Those words changed something inside me. My mother saw something in me that I had forgotten existed. And that night, I made a promise. I promised myself that I would prove David wrong. Not to get him back. Not to make him jealous. But because I deserved better. Because I had always deserved better. The next morning, I woke up early. I opened my laptop and started researching. What skills did I have? What could I learn? What industries were growing? What opportunities were available? I remembered that before I got married, I had been studying graphic design. I had always loved art, always loved creating things. When I married David, I gave it up. But now, 8 years later, I decided to pick it back up. I enrolled in an online course. I stayed up late every night, teaching myself design software, learning new techniques, building my portfolio. My parents' basement became my studio. Their kitchen table became my desk. It was hard.
God, it was so hard.
I had gaps in my knowledge. I was competing against people who had been in the industry for years. There were moments when I wanted to give up, when I believed David was right about me. But every time I felt like quitting, I would remember his words. "Without me, you're nothing. You'll never be anything." And I would get back to work. 6 months after starting my online courses, I landed my first freelance project. It was a small job designing a logo for a local bakery, but it paid $500. That was the most money I had earned in years. I cried when I received the payment. That first project led to another. And another. Word started spreading about this self-taught designer who worked harder than anyone else. I built a portfolio. I created a website. I started reaching out to potential clients directly. Within a year, I was making more money than I ever had during my marriage. Within 2 years, I had a team of 3 designers working under me. Within 3 years, I founded my own design agency, Thompson Creative Solutions. Yes, I named it after David. I wanted him to see. I wanted the world to see. I worked 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I turned down social invitations. I sacrificed relationships. I poured everything into my business. And it paid off. Within 4 years, Thompson Creative Solutions had annual revenues of over $2 million. We had clients in 12 different countries. We had been featured in Design Weekly and Creative Business Magazine. I was named one of the top 30 under 30 entrepreneurs in my region. I was invited to speak at conferences. I was interviewed on podcasts. Everywhere I went, people knew my name. And David? Well, David was still working the same corporate job. His mistress had left him after 2 years. His career had plateaued. He was living in a small apartment, driving a used car, wondering where it all went wrong. 5 years after the divorce, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello." A long pause. Then, a familiar voice. "It's me, David." My heart stopped. I hadn't heard from him in 5 years. I hadn't wanted to. What do you want? I asked, my voice steady despite the trembling inside. I need your help. I almost laughed. After everything he had done to me, after all the abuse, after telling me I was nothing, he was calling me for help. I'm listening, I said. David's voice cracked. My company laid me off 6 months ago. I've been looking for a job, but no one will hire me. I'm 57 years old, and I'm about to lose my apartment. I have nowhere else to turn. And you thought of me? I heard about your company, about everything you've accomplished. I didn't believe it at first. But it's true, isn't it? You built something. You became someone. Yes, I said simply. I did. A long silence. Then David spoke again. I was wrong. About everything. About you. I was wrong to say those things to you. I was wrong to treat you the way I did. I was a monster. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I closed my eyes. All those years of pain, all that suffering, all that self-doubt, it all came rushing back. Part of me wanted to hang up. Part of me wanted to tell him to rot. But I didn't. I'll help you, I said. You will?
Yes.
But not for you. Not because I forgive you. I'm doing this for me. Because I am everything you said I could never be. And I want you to live the rest of your life knowing that. David came to my office the following week. When he walked in, he looked old, tired, broken. Nothing like the confident man who had thrown me away 5 years earlier. Thank you for seeing me, he said, sitting down in the chair across from my desk. I told you I would help, but I want you to understand something. The job I'm offering you is a position as a janitor. You will clean offices, take out trash, and do whatever the 20-year-olds in this building tell you to do. You will earn minimum wage. And you will report directly to people you used to dismiss as beneath you. David's face went pale. You're offering me a janitor position?
Yes.
You told me I would never amount to anything. You told me I was nothing without you. So, I'm giving you the chance to work for the person you thought was worthless. How does that feel? David stared at me. I could see the humiliation in his eyes.
The shame.
The regret. Everything he had made me feel 5 years ago reflected right back at him. I'll take it, he said quietly. I deserve this. I deserve worse. You're right, I said. You do. I slid a folder across the desk. Here's your employment contract. Start Monday. And David, he looked up. Welcome to Thompson Creative Solutions. Now get out of my office. That was my story. It's a story about abuse, heartbreak, and survival. But more than anything, it's a story about proving that no one has the power to define your worth except you. If you're going through something difficult right now, if someone has told you that you're nothing, that you'll never amount to anything, I want you to remember my story. 5 years ago, my ex-husband told me I was worthless. He told me I would never be anything without him. And for a while, I believed him. I let his words define me. I let his cruelty destroy me. But then I found something inside myself that he never knew existed. I found strength. I found courage. I found the determination to prove him wrong. So, whatever you're facing today, hold on.
Keep pushing.
Keep dreaming. Keep fighting. Because one day, the people who underestimated you will be asking for your help. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll see you in the next one.